Top stories. Authorities fear the COVID-19 virus could pass our borders through illegal entry. Tough-talking Premier Mark Brantley said there could be consequences for non-vaccination. And we review the first 100 days of Joe Biden's presidency. Welcome to the SKN Newsline Newscast on Channel 95. I'm Abby Diskin. Authorities in St. Kitts and Nevis fear that the COVID-19 virus could enter the shores of St. Kitts and Nevis through illegal immigration. More in this report.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws is calling upon citizens and residents to report possible illegal entry of persons in an effort to prevent the backdoor entry of COVID-19. Speaking recently on the televised program Leadership Matters, Dr. Laws said there must be zero tolerance for undocumented migrants. The CMO said the entry of COVID by undocumented migrants could make things difficult for the health institutions in the Federation.
We need to be more robust in terms of monitoring our borders, our porous borders, and I think this is an opportunity for me to reach out to everyone in the society. It requires an all-of-society approach whereby everybody, we all have to be our brothers' keepers and monitor our borders, because our people, our eyes are best in terms of monitoring, looking out for strange vessels and looking out for strange faces in our communities and reaching out to the police and providing them the information. I think we need to have zero tolerance in terms of undocumented migrants who would come into the Federation undercover and outside of our health and travel protocols, because that's what happened in Anguilla, and we really don't want our health system to be overwhelmed in like manner.
Concerns were expressed as protocols have been adjusted to allow greater economic activity as more of the population becomes vaccinated. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
Premier Mark Brantley talks about possible consequences for persons who do not wish to take the COVID-19 vaccine. Glenn Bart reports.
In the midst of some hardliners against taking any anti-COVID-19 vaccine, Nevis's Premier Mark Brantley is warning that while there is an individual right not to be vaccinated, there could be serious consequences. Premier Brantley made his comments during a recent press conference in the context of efforts underway to return the country to economic viability, the need to achieve herd immunity, and in the face of the consistent stance of some persons not to be vaccinated.
While nobody can force you as an individual to be vaccinated, no police is going to come, break down your door, grab you, and take you to the hospital to get a vaccine. That's not going to happen. But clearly there are consequences of not vaccinating. I am advised that the cruise ships, for example, are already saying that when they return, and I'm told by the minister in St. Kitts, the Honorable Lindsey Grant, that they will start to come back sometime around July. That they are already saying that they don't want their guests to go into any taxi where the taxi man is not vaccinated. They don't want their guests to go on any catamaran cruise where the crew is not vaccinated. They don't want their guests to go on any zip line or any tour or any hike or any ATV where the people are not vaccinated. So what is going to happen is that as the world changes, and the world has changed, individuals who decide that they're not going to vaccinate, not having any medical reason for not doing so, are arguably going to get left out.
In the context of an economy heavily dependent upon tourism, authorities have been urging citizens and residents to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, several business operators involved in tourism are preparing for the return of cruise tourism while facing the challenge of getting employees vaccinated. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
Still to come, Dr. Terence Drew responds to the DPP's decision to withdraw his bribery allegation court case.
Elliott's Funeral Parlor is the first licensed embalmer in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We have a friendly and professional staff. At Elliott's Funeral Parlor, we offer a wide range of packages from $6,500, homegoing service at chapel, locally made caskets, tailoring of outfit for deceased of your choice, wake, overnight with slideshow, funeral, death announcement, obituary, booklets, family pin-ons, memorial books, preparation of funeral arrangements, wreath, fresh and artificial. For further information, call 469-3298, 664-2007, or 660-0186. Elliot's Funeral Parlor in Gingerland, Nevis, dedicated to those we serve.
I need some veggies for dinner. Let me just check the amount of sodium in this can. Oh no, this is too much. Let me try our next option. They did say it's healthy to consume less salt. This is much better. I am salt smart.
Football is back, and the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association will be bringing you live football on its website, www.sknfa.com, with Premier League Live. Without fans in the stadium due to COVID-19 protocols, you can now watch every single Premier League match this season on www.sknfa.com and click on Live TV. Games are shown live on every match day with halftime and post-game shows. It's Premier League Live. Commentary, analysis, action. Never miss a game.
Bless up, Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's our best shot of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one.
Welcome back. Chairman of the St. Kitts and Nevis Labour Party, Dr. Terence Drew, responds to the decision of the Director of Public Prosecution to throw out his bribery allegation case against Member of Parliament Eugene Hamilton. SKN Newsline's Andre Huey reports.
Chairman of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, Dr. Terence Drew, says he has compelling evidence that would support his case brought against Member of Parliament Eugene Hamilton on allegations of bribery and cheating in the 2020 elections. In responding to the decision by the Director of Public Prosecution, Balston Graham, Dr. Drew said all the QCs he consulted with agreed he had a strong case. One such evidence, he said, was a video which was presented to the DPP, Balston Graham, but instead Mr. Graham discontinued the matter in court.
Number of cases that can be brought, because my election petition had a number of grounds. The first ground that I brought in this one is one not just based on bribery but treating, where you use almost, and I would not speak to my evidence as yet, but you can use to induce material things and otherwise to induce people. Tell them, look, I want you to vote for me. If you want this, you have to vote for me. When you see what we have and how this was planned by Eugene Hamilton, even in the video that we have, which we have not revealed, and the DPP, would have received a copy of it. I want people to know that I had never seen that before. Even when my QCs who reviewed it before the case was put forward, they said they cannot believe that a politician would do something like that.
What did this video entail?
Well, I would reveal it eventually, okay. But it showed how they manipulated, they used material or gifts and how they used them to give people, to induce them so that they could vote a particular way.
The DPP said Monday that the matter did not stand any chance of succeeding in court. But speaking on Issues radio program on Thursday on Freedom 106.5, Dr. Drew said the DPP blocked his case from being heard and suggested bias for the decision.
That great consideration was given. The evidence was looked at. Seasoned people who had put it together and said, look, this is really grounds to really deal with the situation with what took place. Why am I bringing the case? I'm going to deal with that afterwards. Now, I want the public to know that the DPP has not met with me once. I think that is a travesty to the normal process of justice being dispensed. He has not met with me once. Imagine.
Since it was announced that he would take over the case?
He never met with me. So how can he determine the veracity of my evidence without meeting with me? How? That is the question that must put to the DPP.
Asked what his next recourse would be, Dr. Drew said they are looking at several options.
That we must understand. This has already delayed the time. That is why somebody said the time, because you want to get these things done quickly. They are hoping that they would be delayed, and so the political currency would be lost. That is part of it. But I'm not only looking at the last election, Andre. If the Caribbean, if we continue to go down there, when you see what was done with respect to how the treating was done, it will destroy the democracy.
Dr. Drew said he has not received any formal response from the DPP to date. Mr. Hamilton told SK Newsline that the case did not stand any chance of succeeding. He suggested Dr. Drew, who was his political opponent in the 2020 elections, was seeking recourse after the Labour Party withdrew petitions it filed after losing the elections. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
Organic food produce will be center stage of a market on Sunday, May 2nd in Verchilds. Andre Huey spoke to one of the organizers of the organic farm market and filed this report.
The Gideon Force Farm in Verchilds will be hosting its second organic farm market for the year, this time on their farm in the Old Road Verchilds area on Sunday, May 2nd, starting at 1 p.m. Ras Sankofa represents the Gideon Force Organic Farm. He told SK Newsline about what to expect on Sunday.
It's something that we started a couple years back, but we put it on another level now, where we gather different vendors who into organic food and beverages, where they're making the extracts from the vegetable produce, planters themselves as farmers, like Gideon Force Organic Farm, and also we're going to have different vendors who make like sauces, hot sauces, maybe a little soap, even a variety of different items still we're going to have on the stall. And we have House of Judah Musical Foundation as well, going to be represented by a booth. SPAC's going to also represent with a booth. Ital Creations. We have a variety of vendors that's going to be there. Gideon Force Organic Market will be there. Sugar Town Organics will be there. Line of Judah Herbal Remedies will be there as well too.
The event is not only an agricultural one, but for the organizers, it is also of historical significance.
It is not just about the organic market. During the 5th of May, Italy invaded, well, they had invaded Ethiopia in 1935 on the 3rd of October. But on the 5th of May 1941, Haile Selassie I returned from England and he defeated the Italians. And because of that, we're having the celebration close to that, because we're also having that another event later on at the farm to celebrate that as well too. So the celebration is not just about the organic market, it's also to show the great power of the Ethiopian monarch Haile Selassie I and his great victory, similar to when David was able to overcome the Goliath, the giant. So we know that even in the 21st century, as His Majesty said, David will always overcome Goliath.
Earlier this year, the Gideon Force Organic Farm hosted an organic farm market in Tabernacle. According to Ras Sankofa, the support was good and the response showed that there is a demand for organically grown produce.
Because we realized since we had that event, there's more persons frequently coming to the farm now, and that's been an improvement right there from that. And you see that some of these persons is who was over there, because being that you can track names and certain things, you recognize people's faces, and so you could see naturally. And he also gave us one or two more customers in respect to the boxes that we're doing now. Well, we do use plastic sometimes too, but we're pushing it over to boxes now. You know, where you give like a variety of a food package to an individual and they pay the cost. And they're always going to get a discount because they're buying a variety, so you just give them a special discount. Yeah.
The event will feature musical entertainment with performances by House of Judah, Shiloh, Queenie G, Alamalu, Rupert Herbert, El Kaya, Jungles, Jamotion, and DC Lockoff. Music by DJ Slaughter and Jarise Sound. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
When we come back, regional news.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
You know, it's me, Mr. HE, and I'm here with one message. Roll up to roll out. We all know how difficult things have been during this COVID-19 pandemic. While we continue to wash our hands, wear a face mask, and practice social distancing, how about we take it one step further and get vaccinated? Call the nearest health center to find out if you are eligible to be vaccinated. Or you can contact the Ministry of Health at any one of these numbers down below. Don't be discouraged by the negativity. We all have a role to play in protecting this federation. So, St. Kitts and Nevis, let's roll up to roll out.
Stay abreast with news on St. Martin with SMN News. Visit www.smn-news.com for up-to-date news, scoops, opinions, and hard-hitting facts. SMN News, we tell it like it is. Visit our website www.smn-news.com.
It's the new and improved SKN Newsline Android mobile app. With the SKN Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the SKN Newsline Newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search SKN Newsline, and download the app today. The SKN Newsline mobile app. News on the go.
Junior, can I get popcorn, please?
Don't tell Shane, Dev. Want some to plead?
I can get some starch. More, please. Boy, take a popcorn from Junie.
Welcome back. Now let's look at regional news. The National Emergency Management Organization in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is issuing fresh warning to residents still in the red zone of La Soufrière volcano due to changing weather conditions coupled with residues of the volcanic eruption. More in this report from SVG TV.
The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, earlier today issued a warning about the potential danger in the red and orange zones due to mud flows within a river system. In a news release, NEMO said, according to information received from the scientists at the Belmont Volcano Observatory, there were lava flows within the river system in the red and orange volcano hazard zones from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. today. Lahars are a dense mixture of ash and water and usually occurs during heavy rain, which creates mud flow that destroys everything in its path as it rushes down the volcano's slopes faster than a river. Nemo said the lahars can pose a danger to persons visiting the red and orange zones, and as a result of this, the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force will be restricting persons traveling into the red and orange hazard zones. Nemo said the forecast received from the SVG Met Service indicated that occasional showers are expected to continue during the course of the day and from late Wednesday into the end of the week. Residents and motorists are therefore asked to remain on the alert due to rain-soaked ash and possible poor visibility due to volcanic ash. Meanwhile, Nemo is urging persons to desist from visiting the red and orange volcano hazard zones due to the potential danger of the mud flows. Nemo Director Michelle Forbes told SVG TV News today that to preserve human life, they have implemented additional measures to keep persons out of these zones as much as possible, including the issuance of passes to persons wishing to go into these communities.
We started having some rain today, and we actually have in Spring Village in particular and South Rivers, we probably would have had close to an inch of rain for the day, and we have seen the mud flows coming down, and those are dangerous. So we're not going to be too hurried to allow persons back actually into the red zones. We're going to restrict it a little bit more once we have rainy conditions, because we don't want people to be caught in these flows. There's a lot of ash in the mountain, there's a lot of ash to come down, and they're going to come as a mud flow. So we don't want that to happen. So beginning today, we're in close contact with the Met Office. They've already indicated what we can expect today into Wednesday, and we'll be restricting a bit of more of persons entering those zones because of a little bit more dangerous conditions of the ash flowing down the hills and the waterways.
Forbes said that passes will be limited mainly to farmers who will enter the zone at their own risk.
Entering the red zone over the Rabica River, even though you get a pass, we are issuing limited passes to persons, mainly who farmers, etc., who want to go in and feed their animals, but they're really doing it at their own risk. But it's better if they go in groups, have contact with us, we are in contact with the scientists, so we can alert them of anything that is pending. So we don't want persons to just go willy-nilly into the red zone, because there are still dangers, and especially now that we have had some rain today, we don't know what is going to happen over the next few days. So we're asking persons to be cautious. Those who are going in shouldn't be going in without being cleared by us to going, and we have asked the police to restrict a bit on persons.
Some parents in Jamaica are expressing concern with their children's readiness to sit the external exams. CVM TV reports.
With a recent suggestion from opposition Senator Damian Crawford for an education bubble to better prepare CSEC and CAPE students for examinations during the pandemic, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, Jasford Gabriel, says while he lauds this idea, there needs to be guidance from the Health Ministry.
So the Jamaica Teachers Association thinks this is a good idea and would be in support of any and every measure that can help to enhance the preparation of our students leading into the external examinations as well as the TEP examination. This has to be guided though by the Ministry of Health, and because the health standards have to be observed.
Meanwhile, our news team sought to engage members of the public regarding students' readiness for the external exams.
My son is doing 6C this year. He's from the Oberlin High School, and he is not prepared. He's far from being ready. Based on the face-to-face class is down and schooling. So the pandemic created a great negative impact on the student.
To me, best solution for them right now. If school, they have some private school or something. Yeah, to get them prepared. We'll stay hard and online. No, sir. Mother them gonna work, so we just do what they want to do them time, you know.
Yes, I do think they are prepared for the exam, but I think that for the COVID, it's kind of hard for the majority of the students in Jamaica here, although some of the students in Jamaica here, some of them don't have Wi-Fi, or some of them can't hardly find the money to go do the online classes.
I would have said 3/4 don't ready, 1/4 ready. Because me have my son, he's going to take the CXC coming, and if the parents don't sit on them, definitely sit on them, make it them number one priority, they will not be ready.
Javine McLean, CVM Live.
Internationally, as promised, President Joe Biden has taken the United States foreign policy in a decidedly different direction than that of his predecessor, Donald Trump. Al Jazeera takes a look at the president's first 100 days in office.
On the afternoon of his inauguration, President Biden reversed the America First policy of his predecessor, signing an executive order starting the process of rejoining the Paris climate deal. The US opted back into the World Health Organization and the UN Human Rights Council, the new US president fulfilling his campaign promise to re-engage with the world and bind his country again to its traditional allies. With its adversaries, though, relations have deteriorated. In an interview, President Biden called the Russian leader Vladimir Putin a killer. And amid growing tensions, for a time, over 150,000 Russian troops were massed on the border with Ukraine.
I'm also hearing deep concern about some of the actions your government is taking.
Public disagreement with China was on open display during a high-level meeting in Anchorage, Alaska. In a most unusual exchange, the top Chinese and US foreign policy officials arguing over human rights, trade, and cyber attacks. But as the Biden administration was perhaps hoping, it's not stopped renewed engagement on some issues. Here, the US climate envoy John Kerry talking with China's Vice Premier Han Zheng just before the two countries released a joint statement on protecting the planet. Some of the US's allies will tell you privately that they believe President Biden has been just a little bit too slow and cautious on two of the world's most pressing issues. On Iran, although the administration had made it clear it wanted to rejoin the nuclear deal, it didn't seem in any great hurry. Its delay may have complicated negotiations now back underway in Vienna. On Afghanistan, it was only 2 weeks ago that President Biden signaled he'd pull US troops from the country, but the plan to get the Taliban around a table to negotiate with the Afghan government now looks very shaky. A former Obama administration official who worked with many of those now running US foreign policy says one place is more important than any other in their decision-making.
Biden knows that in the Congress, he's got a slim majority in both houses. He's got to work hard to retain those. And that is why, even when it comes to foreign policy, the domestic agenda trumps. And he's looking at, all of these issues, whether it's Afghanistan, whether it's the challenge in Central America with migration, how these are going to impact in key congressional districts and key states. So unfortunately, all politics is local, including foreign policy.
In other words, in determining his international agenda, President Biden is still putting the immediate political calculations in America first. James Bays, Al Jazeera, at the United Nations.
In sports, only one team registered a victory in Wednesday's SKNFA Premier League doubleheader. Andre Huey reports.
A 70th-minute goal from Esgrave Newtown United's Dagan Roberts was the difference maker in the much-anticipated Bastard derby between Newtown and Rams Village Superstars on Wednesday night. There were more fouls in the match than shots on goal, as both teams played a very physical game, which led to Joseph Wilkes being sent off even before ball was kicked in the second half for receiving 2 yellow cards, one at the end of the first half. This meant Village played the entire second half with 10 men, and in the end, the pressure took its toll when Roberts broke away in the 70th minute to notch the ball past the goalkeeper. Village scored later on, but the goal was ruled out for offside. The match was broadcast live on the SKNFA Facebook page. Here's a snippet of the post-game show.
But it would be a demoralizing defeat for them.
Yes, it would. It would dent the confidence a bit, because they would have earmarked Newtown as a cheap point. Because Newtown, they weren't playing to their best. They were playing good, but they weren't getting very good results. So Village surely would have earmarked Newtown as cheap full points, and especially as their Bastard rival, they really would have looking to beat Newtown. But Newtown, as I said, when it comes to Derby, you must expect that. They're playing for bragging rights. They're playing for pride.
Yes.
They're neighbors. They want to be able to go to work tomorrow and brag on your neighbors, you know. Yes. And that's exactly what happened. They step up the game, and they really played well. You could see they worked together as a team, and that goal, the score was a classical team goal.
This victory means that Newtown have leapfrogged Fast Cash Saddlers in the point standings by 1 point, up to 8th place with 12 points. In the day's other match, Saddlers drew 0-0 with the bottom of the table Trafalgar South Stars. That result meant South Stars have gotten their first point of the season, while Saddlers remain winless in their last 6 matches. Commentator Al Edwards offers his take on the match in the SKNFA Premier League live broadcast on the SKNFA's Facebook page.
If you drop a point to a team that's above and they go ahead making the distance wider, no problem, you can still get in. When you drop points to a team that's ranked below you, that's a problem because you don't have stronger teams to play against, which, as you can see, they knocked off most of the lower ranked teams, sometimes by heavy margins, and then struggled against the higher ranked teams.
Yes, and last season, if you could recall, Trafalgar, they had a similar start to this season, but when they got on the board, it sprung them forward to the latter part of the year. Could you see a similar thing happening this season?
Well, it's very possible because, again, it's 12 teams, and they've been showing signs, especially South Stars, showing signs of a piece of resistance. You know that Spurs only defeated them 2-0, and they led them by 1-0 for a very long time. Can't do the same thing, only 2-0, which is a sort of positive that they can take away from the game. Now they've won this, they draw this one, and if they can win the next one, definitely.
The Premier League continues on Friday at the Warner Park when KFC United Oro Jets do battle with Hot Springs Bath United at 6 p.m. and at 8:15 p.m. SL Horses St. Paul's United take on Flow Fujikian Rockets.